A breach of privacy regarding OU Health Services, how to know if you're at risk. A shooting at a Texas high school leaves the community devastated, and high temperatures and strong winds as students make their way back on campus. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Jimmy Wicks.
And I'm Amaya Ward. We begin tonight with information you need to know if you're a patient with OU Health. A major health system in Oklahoma is investigating a possible security data breach, possibly affecting 3,000 patients. OU Nightly's Olivia Dague is live in the newsroom with more. Olivia.
Amaya, OU Health was alerted of a data breach several months ago. The patients involved were just recently notified by mail. An investigation by law enforcement and OU Health found that an employee's laptop with OU Health emails on it was stolen in December of 2022. Later in January, OU Health said an unauthorized user potentially gained access to that data. Possible data at risk, it's the important ones, including social security numbers and sensitive medical information. OU Health set up a hotline, so if you're concerned about your risk, they can tell you your status. That number is listed on your screen. OU Health says if you're concerned, you can place a fraud alert on your credit file. Amaya and Jimmy, back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Olivia. Jimmy, I cannot wait for these chilly temperatures to end.
I'm right with you there, Amaya. Student meteorologist Andrew Messersmith has what we can expect going forward this week. Andrew?
Well, Amaya, if you couldn't get somewhere farther south for spring break, we're going to have the warmer temperatures here over the next couple of days. But today has been a gloomy spring day, windy and chilly. Temperatures in the 50s all across Oklahoma. Our average high for today is 67. And we're also in those wind advisories for northern Oklahoma, and it's windy for most of Oklahoma as well. So our three things we're going to hit on today: we're going to have a stormy Thursday, it's going to be a windy week ahead, and we're going to warm up as we head into the week. Back to you, Jimmy.
Thanks, Andrew. One student is dead and another is injured after shots were fired outside of a Texas high school. The injured student is in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect, another student, has been charged with capital murder, and the motive behind the shooting is unclear, but police believe it may have been targeted.
Violence across the country continues as St. Patrick's Day and spring break activities in South Beach left 2 men dead and another injured. 2 shootings occurred less than 48 hours apart in Miami, Florida. 1 man has been charged with first-degree murder, while a state of emergency was declared in Miami. Miami Beach Police Department has not released any information on the victims. A citywide curfew has been placed. All people in Miami need to be home by midnight.
I believe it will be extended through Thursday to Monday of next weekend. So, you know, it's one of the things in our toolbox. We don't have a whole lot because we really are not allowed to act ahead of spring break to roll back things like alcohol sales and things like that. So we're doing what we can do.
The curfew will be in place until next Monday.
Russia and China meet for the first time since the Ukraine invasion. Becca, Yanez has that and the rest of today's national headlines.
Russian and Chinese leaders meet days after the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for President Vladimir Putin's arrest. This is their first visit since Russia invaded Ukraine a year ago. The U.S. says they are watching for any signs that China could provide military aid to Russia.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are some trade agreements, some sales that are announced where China commits to buying more oil and gas from Russia.
China is calling the trip a, quote, journey of friendship, cooperation, and peace, end quote. And the U.S. government has launched a criminal investigation into TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, over accessing the personal information of several U.S. citizens. The TikTok confirmed in December that an internal review found that 4 ByteDance employees had been fired for surveilling some Americans, including 2 journalists. Former President Donald Trump says he expects to be arrested tomorrow. This follows a years-long investigation into hush money payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. If this were to pass, it would be the first time in history that a former U.S. president is indicted for a crime. And in his social media post announcing his expected arrest, Trump also called for his supporters to protest, which many experts are concerned about due to the January insurrection. Amaya and Jimmy.
Thanks, Becca. Concerns are rising about the recent banking crisis in the U.S. See the impacts it's having across the country.
And a famous coffee chain is in hot water after accusations of employee mistreatment. More coming up next. Markets remain on edge after the second and third largest bank failures in U.S. history happened earlier this month, but the tension may be soon easing as a global effort to address the turmoil is underway. John Lawrence reports.
Hours after UBS, Switzerland's largest bank, agreed to accumulate the ailing Credit Suisse in an emergency buyout,
the takeover of Credit Suisse by UBS is the best solution for restoring the confidence that has been lacking in financial markets recently.
the Federal Reserve and other global central banks announced a coordinated effort they say will, quote, enhance the provision of liquidity via the standing U.S. dollar liquidity swap line arrangements. In layman's terms, they want to keep credit available for households and businesses. But some analysts still have concerns and questions.
What happens to the rest of sort of these regional mid-sized banks in the United States? Are they going to face outflows this week? Are people going to be nervous about banks who are sitting on a lot of unrealized losses or banks who have a lot of uninsured depositors?
Goldman Sachs says there's a 35% chance of the U.S. entering a recession within the next year due to these banking problems. That's a 10% hike since the start of the crisis.
We don't know what's going to happen. We do know that financial instability threatens what has been a very strong economic recovery. And for that reason, we need to act forcefully and with clear communication to prevent any contagion in our financial sector.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
People with less than $250,000 or couples with $500,000 in a U.S. bank are insured by the FDIC and most likely have nothing to worry about. Similar programs are also available in European countries.
Your local Starbucks finds itself in hot water with a national labor board. OU Nightly's Morgan Martin has what that means and more in Money Matters.
4 different Oklahoma Starbucks coffee shops are facing prosecution for labor law violations, including one in Norman. The complaints say that the 4 stores committed illegal acts such as threatening to cut pay raises and benefits if employees unionize, even offering more benefits to employees who don't participate. A hearing is set for April 11th in Oklahoma City. A major pharmaceutical company is lowering the price of insulin starting next year. Sanofi says they're slashing the prices of 2 of their insulin drugs by more than 70%. Patients with private insurance can also expect a $35 monthly cap. Sanofi's price cut follows other pharmaceutical companies making similar decisions. If the price of eggs has you digging for loose change, you're not the only one. Dollar Tree can no longer afford to sell them. Short supply and high demand has created prices so high the chain can't keep cartons on their shelves for anything near $1. And the Moore Police Department is warning businesses to be on the lookout for counterfeit bills after one business received a fake $100 bill from a customer. Amaya, Jimmy.
Thanks, Morgan. One OU organization has come together to support a special cause. See how they chipped in when OU Nightly returns.
And spring is finally here. Andrew, should we be worried about any severe weather with these warmer temperatures coming in?
Well, we are going to see warmer temperatures, and Thursday we will see those chances for severe weather. Between now and then, you can expect some rain tomorrow night. We'll have the details coming up next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Looking at our wind gusts right now. I almost got blown over on my way to the studio today. We are looking at wind gusts into the 30 to 40 mile an hour range, and these are just going to continue to increase as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow. This is 1 a.m. tonight. You can see those gusts getting up into the mid to upper 40s. This is approaching 1 a.m., but as we go throughout the morning, we're going to see a brief break before the next round of stronger wind gusts impacts mostly northern Oklahoma tomorrow morning. Through the day tomorrow, that is going to push southeast before we get another brief break before our storms on Thursday. So what can we expect for tonight if you're headed out? We are looking at a chance of rain showers, not early in the evening, but really later overnight. Most of you will be asleep for this. This is 4 a.m. that we start to see some of the heaviest rain come through. And by the time of your morning commute, 7 a.m., most of that heavier rain has pushed northeast into the Tulsa area, Muskogee area, leaving the OKC area pretty clear for your Tuesday. And then as this plays out through the rest of Tuesday, it'll be a much nicer day and a little bit warmer for you. So also, it is the spring equinox. This is the vernal equinox, exactly where Earth is tilted on its axis at 23.5 degrees. And you can see we typically think of our summer and winter solstice as the longest and shortest days of the year. But our autumn and vernal equinox, this is where our northern and southern hemispheres have the exact same daylight. So pretty much the switch of the seasons for our hemispheres. And as you can see, it does fall today on March 21st, where Earth's axis is neither tilted closer or farther away from the sun. Now, coming up here a little bit closer to home, we are looking at severe weather threat on Thursday. All hazards are possible. It is a little bit too far out right now to nail down the specifics on this, but we're looking at definitely a wind threat, definitely a hail threat, and possibly a tornado threat. So we'll keep you posted on OU Nightly all week. So here is this energy that we've got. Here comes this system blasting across the western part of the United States into Oklahoma, bringing with it some cooler air behind it. And here is all of that energy that we're going to use to help create those storms. So here you go. This is Thursday at 8 p.m. We're going to look at an early Thursday afternoon to Thursday evening time frame for your storms on Thursday. And then that is going to get out of here by Thursday night. Now, the rainfall that we're going to get from this, we are looking at about 1 to 2.5 inches. And then for the rest of your weekend, we'll see those cooler temperatures. So enjoy those warmer temperatures Wednesday and Thursday while they last before we get one more look at a little bit cooler temperatures. Still really nice out here, 60s. We can pretty much right on what we can expect here for April. And then after that, we are looking at much sunnier weather next week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Andrew. With recent devastation in Turkey and Syria following last month's deadly earthquake, members of the OU Muslim community have stepped in to help. Today on the South Oval, students from the Muslim Student Association gathered and sold baked goods to raise funds for earthquake victims. They sold traditional Turkish and Muslim bites with a special cause behind their efforts. If you missed out on the bake sale but would like to help, you can send any donations to OU MSA on Venmo.
Well, Jimmy, it's March, which is my favorite time of the year, despite my bracket being busted.
My bracket is beyond busted, Amaya, but March Madness is fully underway and the OU women's basketball team's Sweet 16 hopes hang in the balance tonight. Pierce Loeffelholz has more details in sports. Pierce?
Yeah, Jimmy and Amaya, the OU women must win a road game in LA to advance. Stick around to hear Jenny Baranchuk's outlook heading into tonight, plus more Sooner sports updates. Hello, I'm Pierce Loeffelholz, and it's time for sports. Oklahoma women's basketball steered past the Portland Pilots on Saturday to open March Madness. The Sooners out-rebounded Portland by 16 in their 85-63 victory. Oklahoma now takes on the 4th-seeded UCLA Bruins tonight at 9 p.m. Head coach Jenny Baranchuk spoke about the difficulties of taking on the Bruins on their home court.
I know, obviously, you know, from a national level, their guard play is incredible, and then they've got a player that can really stretch the floor, and you're playing on their home floor. So we've got to be able to just come and we've got to be able to play because they'll change some things up as well.
Oklahoma football is back on the gridiron as the Sooners have their first of 14 spring practices tomorrow. OU is coming off of the worst football season since 1998, going 6-7 on the year with the nation's 122nd ranked defense. Head coach Brent Venables has high expectations for the new players and the future of the program.
I'm really excited about this group of guys. There's a hunger and an edge to them, great humility, willingness to work and do the hard things that we ask them to. Have really responded in a big time way. A lot of speed and strength gains across the board.
Former Sooner Heisman winner Baker Mayfield has some large shoes to fill replacing Tom Brady. Mayfield signed a one-year, $8.5 million deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier today. This marks the fourth team in the last 3 seasons for the former #1 overall pick. Oklahoma women's gymnastics continued their dominance with their best Big 12 championship performance in school history. The Sooners took home their 14th Big 12 team title with a score of 198.4. Oklahoma heads into the NCAA postseason as the #1 seed and hosts 16-seed Ohio State, Arkansas, and the winner of NC State versus Ball State on March 30th and the 31st. Oklahoma softball keeps rolling as they swept the Hall of Fame Classic over the weekend. OU outscored their opponents 48-3, including 3 ranked wins. The Sooners opened conference play on the road with a 3-game series against Iowa State starting on Friday. Oklahoma baseball started the conference play against number 11 TCU at home over the weekend. OU dropped the first game, but won a pitcher's duel for the second and won the series on Sunday with a comeback 7-5 victory. The Sooners take on the Dallas Baptist Patriots next at home on Tuesday. Former Sooner Austin Reaves had the best game of his NBA career last night. Reaves finished with a team and career-high 35 points, along with 6 rebounds and 6 assists off the bench. That makes 8 straight games with double-digit scoring for Hillbilly Kobe. The Lakers beat the Magic 111-105 and currently sit in the last-place spot with just 10 games remaining. Speaking of OU basketball, Oklahoma guard Bijan Cortez has entered the transfer portal. He's now the 3rd Sooner to do so. Jimmy, Amaya, back to you.
Thanks, Pierce. A long-awaited season change is finally upon us.
What you can expect from the first day of spring coming up.
I'm Emmery Johnson at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The city of Norman announces that they will continue removing storm debris from the last month's EF2 tornado through April 8th. So far, the city says they have removed 600 tons of debris. You can call the City of Norman Streets Division for more. Amaya, Jimmy, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Emmery. Thankfully, the cold temperatures are going to eventually be a thing of the past because today is the vernal equinox, marking the first day of spring.
Days start to get longer, temps start to get warmer, and trees and flowers start to bloom, so we'll have more time for sunshine, which brings us ever so closer to summer. And if you took part in St. Patrick's Day celebration over spring break, you were probably seeing a little green, but some partiers in California were busy seeing
a bizarre sight in the sky above. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
As most lads and lasses were soaking up St. Patty's Day suds, some were spotting surreal space streaks in the sky.
What is that?
Video captured at a brewery in California shows bizarre bright lights streaming across the skies over Sacramento. Jaime Hernandez was celebrating the annual Irish holiday when he says the strange show unfolded overhead for about 40 seconds. The video was posted online, and it didn't take long for social media to do what it does best, throwing around every preposterous possibility from the Avengers to Santa Claus. But one Twitter user, an astrophysicist and astronomer, portends the surreal show was likely space junk, flaming debris from a 2009 communications package sent to the ISS and now burning up on re-entry. Okay, so probably not Transformers then? Got it. Speaking of surreal, take a look at a newly discovered species of orchid that looks like it could be spun from glass. The species has been identified in parks and gardens around Tokyo and features seemingly crystallic pink and white blooms that are extremely fragile. Scientists say it's an important reminder that unknown species are often living right under our noses. Finally, if you're a big nature fan, don't stop to smell the flowers. Hurry up and apply for a job being described as professional bear hugger. To be fair, the job posted by the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish is actually that of a conservation officer, and interactions with bears is only one of the duties. Ideal candidates will enjoy long hikes, be willing to crawl into bear dens, and are looking for what the agency calls the experience of a lifetime. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Amaya, where do I sign up to be a professional bear hugger? Because that does look like a lot of fun, along with the other responsibilities that you got.
I know, absolutely. Those bears were so cute. Well, let's toss it over to student meteorologist Andrew Messersmith for one last check of weather.
Well, I don't know if I can forecast any transformers coming through the sky tonight, but I can say that our weather is going to be pretty good. We're going to see temperatures staying pretty much in the 50s until later this evening. Around 9 p.m. it'll drop into the 40s. It's going to stay windy all night tonight, so make sure you're aware of that if you're headed out. And then remember again that severe weather threat will be coming Thursday before temperatures start to cool off this weekend. And it's just going to be a beautiful spring weekend and week here in Oklahoma. Jimmy, Amaya.
Thanks, Andrew. And thank you all for watching OU Nightly. I'm Amaya Ward.
And I'm Jimmy Wicks. We won't have a show tomorrow, but be sure to tune in we will have a show tomorrow. This is not for spring break. Be sure to tune in to OU Nightly weekdays at 4:30. Good night.